Hello and welcome to this demonstration of live development with the open source code editor Brackets. I'm Jonathan Deal and I worked on these capabilities as an intern at Adobe in 2012. Brackets is an open source code editor built with the web for the web. It features a highly extensible platform with already more than 50 community-driven extensions, inline editing, allowing seamless navigation between related parts of the code, and live development, the ability to immediately see the effect of changes, giving the editor a live feeling. In the current version of Brackets, live development only works for CSS files. However, Brackets also supports live development for JavaScript and HTML, but these features are disabled by default because they are still experimental and might break badly. So, use at your own risk. To enable the live development features, you need to get the source code of Brackets. To do so, go to the website and then go to GitHub. And on GitHub, on the wiki, there's a guide called How to Hack on Brackets, which will tell you basically step-by-step instructions how to get the source code of Brackets and get it to work with your version of Brackets. Once you've done that, open the source code, preferably in Brackets, and go to the live development folder, and then edit the file main.js. Here, you will find pretty close to the top of the file the variable config, which contains a flag experimental, and we want to make that true. And don't forget to save the file. Well, to make this change effective in Brackets, we actually need to disable the cache that Brackets uses. To do so, go to the debug menu and show the developer tools. They open in Chrome in a separate window, so you want to make sure to have Chrome installed. Then click here on the gear icon down there and make sure that disable the cache is checked here. Once you've done that, you can close the debugger tools, go back to Brackets, and refresh Brackets by just hitting Command R or go to reload Brackets. To demonstrate the experimental features, I've prepared a sample project. Let's start by opening the live preview. And as we can see, this is a simple 8 puzzle which we can solve by moving around the tiles. So the project isn't really done yet. As you can see, when I solve this puzzle, I don't get any feedback. So to change that, I'm going to open the JavaScript source here in Brackets, and I'll add a quick check whether the puzzle is solved here in the click handler. And what I'm going to do is I'll just inform the user that with a quick alert box that they're done. Now, as I save the file, you'll notice that the puzzle gets reset. So now I have to solve it again to verify that my change actually worked, which over time tends to get kind of annoying. Well, the change worked, but now let's assume that we also wanted to report the number of moves that the user took to get there. And to do this, I'll actually now use live development to test this change. So the change I'm going to make is I'll just add a quick string here into our alert box and reporting how many moves we took. But this time I'm not going to save the file. Instead, I'll go back to my browser and I'll solve it again, which is very easy now. And as you can see, voila, our change worked. We can now see the number of moves, and we did not need to resolve or reset the puzzle in the process of doing so. Next, I will demonstrate live HTML editing by example of a Deck.js presentation. I'll open the live preview, and now I can actually start editing text in my HTML file in Brackets, and I can see the changes reflected immediately in the web browser. In addition, I can edit text directly in the browser. To do so, I'm going to hold Command and Option, and then when I click on an element, I can edit it. And as you can see, the source code in Brackets actually changes as I type. Now, I'll have to warn you that editing is restricted currently to just editing text. If you change the actual DOM structure, things will break. That's why it's called experimental. So finally, you can also use live development to navigate between the browser and the source code. When I hold down the Command key, you'll notice that things start highlighting in the browser as they do in brackets. And this is to kind of show you how things are related from the source code to the actual browser. Now when I click on one of the elements, I get a list presented of things that are related to this element. And the first one is always the actual definition in the HTML file. So when I click on that, brackets navigates to that part of my source code. The other things are a list of all of the CSS rules that apply, and when I click on one of those, I'm taken to the actual file and to the definition of the rule. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more of this in brackets, please let us know through the comments.